ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, if you've noticed or not, well, I've been off for the last week and a half. I haven't been able to make any videos because I've been trying to get my butt home and been running like a madman. Making the good money though, so I'm not going to complain too much there. But anyways, so if you've noticed, I've been trying to do some smaller tier reviews and replays because I've noticed not just from my channel but a lot of other channels, a lot that they've been doing. You see a lot of mainly tier 10s and tier 9 matches, and then a handful of 8s, and it gets less and less, and then you get down into the lower tiers and none. And I made this channel intentionally to help people that were getting into World of Tanks, starting out, and I started feeling like, I'm not really helping the new guy or girl getting into World of Tanks. I'm really just kind of making replays, showing what the bigger tier 10s and 9s can do, which, if you're newer into World of Tanks, you just start playing, you're not going to go, oh, look, it's a tier 10 match, I want to watch that. It'll be a month or two before I can even get a tier 10, but, so I figured I'm going to change my gears a little bit here and kind of lean towards doing some smaller tier stuff to try and help out the new players getting into World of Tanks. So anyways, we're doing a tier 4 today. It is the Covenantor. I actually really like this. I've only got 2 matches in it, and you're going to see one of them. And not a huge amount of damage. The gun on this, we're going to go over the whole thing real quick. You got quite an options of guns. You got a couple, 1, 2, 3 tier 4s. No, they're all tier 4 guns. You can pick a howitzer gun on this. It's not an auto loader, obviously. The reload is still only 4.03, basically 4 seconds. Yeah, your average penetration for your HE is 3,875 damage. Average pen gives you 8 heat, which I hate heat rounds. But in your lower tiers, you don't run into a lot of tanks with a whole bunch of spaced armor. But it bumps you up to 100 pen and 110. You go down a little bit in the damage at 110. But you're guaranteed to hit on average around 110, versus with the HE rounds, it's average says 175, but it depends on where you hit the tank, if you're going to get 175 or 75 or 15, so but anyway, so that's a good option to go with. It also gives you the pom-pom, which this one is kind of like the pom-pom but with better penetration. You can see this one here is 4971. This is 63101. So I went with this one. The simple fact why I went with this one is because it's auto loader. One thing I didn't look at is, do you lose gun depression with that other one, or if it stays the same? Nope, gun depression still did stay the same. That's a big reason on sometimes why I pick a gun. If you lose your gun depression, that really kind of sucks, because some of them, if you go with a certain gun, you'll have 10 degrees of gun depression, and you put on a different gun, all of a sudden you got 4. But yeah, this one's got awesome gun depression. But let's just go over this real quick. I'm not going to kind of hammer into the review of it too much. But anyway, so you get an autoloader gun, 4 shells in the magazine. And then I'll go over my stats, not the stock stuff. Average penetration is 63 for your AP. You get APCR for your premium, which is awesome, at 101 pen, and 23 for your HE. 50 average damage for your premium and your standard, and 60 for your HE. And then let's go over to mine a little bit here. My rate of fire is 37.76 rounds a minute. You get negative 15 for gun depression, which is flippin' phenomenal, and 20 elevation, which is still good if you got to shoot up. It's not lacking one way or the other, but 15 is awesome. You can work ridge lines in this thing like a boss. The load on this to do a full load is 5.16, so basically 5 seconds. You get 4 rounds, and there's 0.4 seconds in between rounds, and it shoots 2 at once. So once you pull the trigger, it goes boom, boom. And then you got 2 more rounds, you pull the trigger and boom, boom. So it puts 2 rounds into somebody real quick. If you penetrate, you can really, do some good damage. Turret traverse on this is 51.2, and the hull traverse is 42.67. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about getting a circle strafe because you're going to be the one doing the circle strafing in your nice little light tank here. Let's see where we're at. Aim time is great at 1.62 seconds. Dispersion is really not bad for an autoloader at 0.37. I missed a lot of shots because some of the stuff I was shooting at in this match was moving around really fast, hard to hit. My average damage per minute is 1888. You get 340 hit points, which isn't a whole lot, but obviously you're down in tier 4, so, and it's a light tank. For armor-wise, it's really not too bad for a tier 4 and being a light tank. Your hull is 40 in the front, 39 on the turret. On the side, you get 30 in the hull and 19 in the turret. And in the rear, you get 25 in the hull, 25 in the turret. It's a pretty sharp-looking tank. Tools right along. I mean, it's no slouch. I'll give it that. 18.69 ton. So obviously don't go ramming stuff because it's going to kill you and not what you're ramming. Specific power to weight is awesome at 19.26. Top speed is 50 kilometers an hour in forward and 20 in reverse, which I love that 20 in reverse. That way if you find yourself in a predicament like I was with this T-14, he had trouble catching me because I had that extra boost to get the hell out of an area when he tried chasing me down to shoot me around that hill. I think I was pissing him off because he couldn't catch me. He actually did hit me one time in the butt, I think, when he was trying to catch me there. But concealment's great at 19.76, and that's obviously set and still and on the move. View range is 385. Really not too shabby for a tier 4, and your signal range is 562. It's really not too shabby for a tier 4 also. I went with a gun lane drive vents and coated optics to get the view range out there a little bit. Obviously, your gun lane drive to help zoom in on your targets, and your vents to help pretty much across the board, help, kind of everything. And I get an alright crew in here. I mean, 37%, 40% on their first cruise skill, 116 on the overall, and 105 on the commander. So, I enjoy playing. It's a fun little thing. Yeah, if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some gameplay for you and then some post-game stats. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so here we are on Westfield in the Covenantor. I was a little surprised when I started out. I'm like, I'm in a light tank, but they put me on the top of the hill with the tank destroyers and the heavy tanks, but whatever, I probably would have went up here anyways, so it saved me climbing the hill. And I saw that the Valentine was up here too. So it's just normally they put your mediums and your heavies and your tank destroyers on the hill and your light tanks down on the bottom. So, whatever. But I thought the best thing I could do with what they had for tanks was go up in this notch right here and see what I could light. I thought I was going to light like half their team. I guess I didn't have to pause it to tell you all that stuff. So let's speed up the timer here real quick. Sorry about that, guys. You're back to its normal speed. So I figure I'm going to head up here, and you can see it's, it's got a nice fast reload. We're already loaded with 4 shells. It only shows, you'll see 2 right here, but it's actually 2 per trigger pull. So we're heading up here, and I'm thinking I'm going to light something right up in this area, but nothing. Keep coming up here, and I'm seeing nothing. I'm like, okay. So as soon as I come up over here, I'm thinking I'm going to light up half a team, so I'm going to take it real slow. Okay. I'm like, 1 tank. And now I've got it on premium rounds, and when I started bouncing off this T-14, you can see I had it pre-set up to go to standard rounds next. Changed my mind real quick. When I wasn't penetrating this T-14 with standard rounds, or premium rounds, I penned them 1 time out of 4 shots. I thought, nope, we're going to keep it on premium. Because obviously your standard round bumps you down to, was it 61? 63. And these are 101. So it would make no sense to go to the standard round. It's going to less penetration. That means I'm just going to bounce all of them. Those shots right there, they all hit, and I think it was more or less the angle he was on. I saw this sneaky little Covenantor coming up here to kind of try and get me gone, so we got rid of him real quick. And you can see, this is where I think I get shot in the butt once here. Yeah, kind of didn't really have a choice if I was coming back up here. I was going to have to drive in front of him, but then the Lush came over here and he was keeping him busy. And look at this. I'm putting rounds right in that T-14's butt. And now I put him in his side. I penned one out of all those in his side. Penned one out of those four too. I think finally I just pissed him off. So I'm like, yeah, I better kind of scoot out of here because he's coming up after me. But you can see, you know, I mean, I was having a hell of a time penning that thing anywhere. I put 4 rounds, at least 4 rounds in his side and bounced all of them. Well, you can see he's pre-aimed there down at me, and I'm like, I see him coming down the hill. I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. Thank goodness I moved because artillery was going to have his way with me, but when I pulled out like that, looked like he ran into the SAU-40, the 2001D, and the Lush was sitting there waiting for him too. So yeah, him following me around was his demise. So basically, we've been hit twice, once by the Covenantor for 53 and once by the T-14, and we're down to 191 health. So we're about half dead. So figured I'm going to play it kind of easy. I saw they had the SU-76 GFT or whatever that is over here, and I saw him and I stopped and I looked and I'm like, oh shit, he's aiming at me. And by the time I pulled the trigger, he got blowed up right before I pulled the trigger. But somebody just, I think it was maybe artillery hit him. You see those rounds flew way over him. I think I hit him once here. No, none of those rounds actually hit. Yeah, so you can see at range, yeah, not very good. But your auto loaders like this, especially your smaller tier like this, the rounds tend to do that. They go everywhere but where you're shooting at. I thought my best bet is to stop and get shots at this Lush from up here. We penned him what? One. Penned him one time out of all those shots. I think the other rounds might have flown over him. And we did bounce one round from him. Kind of interested to see where oh, he hit me in the side of the turret there. You can see that's where that other round penned me. I got my, I love that mod where it shows the paintball mod, shows you where you've been hit. So, artillery's not lighting up, so I'm thinking he's got to be up on the hill here. So, of course, we're going to fly up the hill. I was thinking I could stay in the cap, get some cap points. But with my luck, already sitting right up here, and he would, I'm spotted, and he'll probably just, put a round up my butt and kill me. So I figure I'm better off staying on the move, and sure enough, as soon as I come up over this hill, boom, he's lit. So, yeah, more than likely, I would have been lit and would have been dead. So, as you can see, not a whole lot of damage, but doesn't take a whole lot of damage to get a good WN8 in this. It's yeah, it was like a 2,000 something WN8 for that match, and I only did 450 damage and 89 assisted damage and blocked all of one round. So anyways, yeah, so not a bad little light tank, to be honest with you. It's actually pretty good. But if you want to hold on for a minute, I will have some post-game stats for you. Alrighty, so here's the results of that match, and as you could plainly see the pom-pom gun on this, or pom-pon, P-O-M-P-O-N, I think that's how it's pronounced. Let's look. QF40 Mark V1. I thought it said, oh no, that's the other one down, is the pom-pom. So this, I've got the auto loader with decent pen for your standard and all right pen for your premium, but you could see that the T14, even direct shots in the side of the T14, I was bouncing. I bounced off him. I put a lot of shots into him. I only penetrated 5 times. I was like, damn. Of all the tanks that came over there, I was hoping that he wouldn't be the one, because I know that the T14 has got great sloped armor, but I would have swore that I would have been able to go right through his side. And I hit him for at least 8 times in the sides and bounced almost every round that hit him in the side too. I was like, oh my God, you're kidding me. We did knock off his track. We did spot him, obviously, and we spotted the SU 76 GFT, and he got hit for 89 hit points of damage, and we hit the other Covenantor twice for 100, finished him off. The Loosh, we hit him twice for 97. Knocked off his track and actually bounced around from him for 30 hit points. And their artillery there, I finished him off on the hill. He only had 3 hit points left of health. So it wasn't really a high damage game. That was a Master Badge Class 2, sharpshooter, and a fire for effect. I mean, as you can see, you know, we're down here, 450 damage, 2 kills, and we got a 570. Wow, that was actually pretty good. About what, third, fourth, fifth highest on experience, and right about in the middle on damage. So nothing too spectacular. But look at this. I shot all premium rounds, shot 42, hit 25, and only penned 10. So obviously anything with any type of armor, it's going to really struggle. I do have standard rounds, but once I saw the T14, I just knew that wasn't going to happen. Then I forgot to switch it back off because I was just trying to get damage at that point, because I was dinking around with that T14 for the first half of the match. But we still made 15,745 credits, and that's just with a premium account. I had no things pop, no, nothing special going on right now. So yeah, I was pretty impressed with the amount of credits that it made, shooting 42 premium rounds. So they got to be dirt cheap. Let me just take a look real quick, actually. 1,200 credits per shot. So, what is it? Yeah, 3 gold or 1,200 credits. Standard round is 30 credits. HE or 15, so 1,200, that's actually not bad for a premium round, to be honest with you. But yeah, so we actually made, I wonder, let's look at that and see, did I have a bunch of them in, oh, I bet you that's why. I got 2 in the depot still, probably had a bunch in the depot. That would answer. So yeah, I was going to say it, 1,200 credits per shot. That's, not as bad as some of them are, but still, I should have made a profit off that. So I must have had a bunch of those in the depot from another tank or something. But so anyways, the WN8 for that match was actually very good. 2,368 for 450 damage. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good for doing, if you're going to work on your WN8, it's a smaller tier. It does have a plethora of guns to choose from. It also has a howitzer you can throw on here. The damage is a little bit nicer at 175. Well, it's it's going to be HE, so let's just take a peek at it. Yeah, so what's the fire? Reload isn't bad at 4.3 seconds. Average penetration on your HE is 38, 175 average damage, 100 for your, you get heat for your premium, which sucks, and that bumps you to 110 average damage. But I don't know, I just like that, I call it pom-pom, but it's not, obviously. I like the autoloader version, just for the simple fact that the reload on it is, I think it was, 5 seconds, 4 seconds? Total reload is 5.16 seconds, and it's 2 shots, bang bang, and so you unload your magazine basically in 2 clicks, bang 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 bang, and it's reloading again. Unfortunately though, well, the T14 is to be expected that it's got good armor, it's hard to penetrate, And I think isn't that a tier 5? Don't quote me, but I think it's a tier 5. Yeah, T14, tier 5. Yeah, so, I mean, he's got 101 armor all the way around on the turret. Hull armor's 50, but, you know, on the front, really well sloped. Yeah, I was real surprised it wasn't pinning him in the side, though. Hitting him right in the side and boom, boom, bounce, bounce. But, huh. Anyways, so that was a replay of the Covenantor. I've been doing some smaller tiered tanks just to try and help out, you know, people that are just kind of getting into World of Tanks, you know, because everybody does your tier 10s and tier 9s all day long, and so I thought it'd be a nice change of pace to try and get some you know, replays out there for the guys and girls that are just starting into World of Tanks, that are down in the tier 3 and 4 you know, area, to give an idea of, you know, this tank's good or this tank's bad. Obviously you don't get a lot of hit points, 340, but anyways, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the replay. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.